Al, thank you very much for agreeing to do this. It's be good to catch up on your news. Al, you're married to Lindsay. You've got 4 kids. Well, they're grown up now, really, aren't they?
4 adults, yeah.
4 adults, and you've also got quite a lot of animals.
Yes, we've got 2 dogs. We have 3 cats and 2 rabbits.
So quite busy in your house, I would imagine. Yeah. Al, tell us about your work. You work at the hospital, don't you?
I do, Fiona. So Fiona, as most people know, I work at the infirmary as a consultant orthopedic surgeon. So I treat conditions of the bones, of the joints. And apart from being a doctor, I have a few other responsibilities in staffing, administration, in training, etc. So it's a very busy, it's a very fulfilling life. Yes.
And you treat mainly children?
I think about 60% of my work is children, about 40% adults. So I'm very fortunate in that respect. I love the variety. I see newborn babies and I see really elderly people with hip fractures, for instance. So I enjoy the variety.
Good. So Al, we've been hearing a lot about the NHS. We've been really appreciating everything that you guys have been doing. What's been hard for you in the hospital over these last months?
Well, as most people would say, I'm generally a very optimistic person. I see the possibilities and the challenges rather than dwelling on the negative aspects of most tasks. But clearly, infrastructure is the biggest challenge we faced, because most resources, many staff have been diverted either towards looking after COVID or creating spare capacity in case or in the event of an anticipated increase in COVID. So, for instance, operating theatres have been left fallow. Clinics have been cut. We can't see patients in clinics. But that's partly to reduce the transmission of COVID in hospital, because you can imagine in a small contained space where you have lots of people, well, that's a perfect situation for transmission. So hospitals, paradoxically, could become a hotspot. So the clinics have been cancelled, and that, as you can imagine, is a really difficult aspect of working as a doctor, because you rely on face-to-face and physical examinations, that kind of thing.
So waiting lists and things, I guess, a lot of things have been disrupted. I guess this is going to have long-term implications, isn't it, for patients and treatment?
Absolutely. And the thing is that I think we've done quite well to prepare infrastructure for peaks, but I think we're having a greater difficulty working out when should things return to normalcy. How should we return capacity, people, facilities to work as they were working pre-COVID? That's proving to be a really difficult question to solve currently.
Thank you. So that's something the church family could be praying particularly for you guys in. Al, have there been any good things for you to come out of these last few months?
I'd say the biggest thing that I can think of that's been positive is an opportunity to change certain systems. People get very used to working in a pattern. It tends to have been formulated in some instances several decades ago, and changing something in a big institution like the NHS is really very difficult sometimes. And one really great thing has been to make changes to the way we work, certain departments, certain teams, certain services. I think that's been a really positive thing. The other positive thing is that you see a side of people that you otherwise wouldn't have seen. So in adversity, you see resilience, you see commitment, you see dedication, which in many circumstances you would just never have the opportunity to do. So I think in that respect we're very fortunate. Yeah.
And we're so grateful to you guys for all the work and everything that you've been doing for us.
Absolutely. And you know, the NHS is the value of the NHS is brought into stark relief. You know, when you hear about people, for instance, in other countries being turned away from hospitals because there isn't the capacity or they haven't got the finance. You know, nothing like that happens here, and we are really very blessed. And I think the public at large appreciate that.
I think they really do, Al. I think that has been something that's been very noticeable. Al, as a family, you've all been well through this period. Your mum and your family back in India, they've been okay, have they?
Yes, so COVID in India has affected mainly the really big cities like Mumbai, Delhi, Chennai. The smaller cities and more rural areas have been relatively unaffected. Apart from the huge financial effects from local lockdowns, that's a huge problem. Here in the UK, we've all kept very well. None of us have fallen ill, and my wife has been able to carry on with her business. My son has a job at a local store on Queen's Road, so he's kept working, and 2 of our kids are waiting for board exam results, so that's been difficult in some ways, because they might I think both of them would have done well with exams if they had sat them, so we don't know how that's going to pan out in terms of their results. So yeah, that's where we are.
And we'd like to do just a shameless plug for the tiny bakery that Lindsay works at. That's been really busy, hasn't it?
Yeah. She's been the number 1 bakery in Leicester.
That's right, that's the one. That's the one. On Clarendon Park Road. Yeah. She's been really busy making lots of bread, and people have been queuing, and that's great, isn't it?
Yeah, it's, you know, she's got a very dedicated, committed customer base who've queued, who've put orders in by telephone, who've had stuff delivered. So her bakery, her business has been open almost all the way through. She's taken a couple of weeks off more recently, partly to give her staff a break. Fiona, I'm really sorry. My dog is whining and it wants to...
That's fine, Al. Go
just give me 1 sec. You can chop that bit out, can't you?
So Al, just as we finish, is there anything you think the Lord's been teaching you or speaking to you about over this time? I'm really grateful for his blessings. I'm really grateful for health, strength, and security. And I feel an opportunity for people to reflect on the wider meaning of life on earth. I think it's been a time for some people to reflect on their own spiritual journey. Even at work, people have mentioned it on a few occasions, and I think in that respect, I think what we heard on Sunday just gone about the parable of the sower. If you listen to Radio 4, the same sermon was on Radio 4, by the way, Sunday worship. But just the idea that we are the fertile ground, and this is our opportunity to really sow the gospel. Thank you, Al. That's fantastic. Really encouraging to hear from you, and lots of love, and love to Lindsay as well. Thank you. Bye. Yeah, thank you very much for having me. Bye. Bye.